Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Long Pamay, and in this series, I'll guide you in detail on how to use VBA to work with PowerPoint. Post completion of this course, you should be able to understand and work with all major components within PowerPoint, extend or develop solutions for PowerPoint, and also learn how to integrate with other applications like Excel. These are the high level points that I'll be covering today. As we dive in, I'll be sharing more tips and tricks and workaround for issues you might encounter. We'll first start off with working with objects and then we'll move on to the rest of the topic. We do have a lot, but I'll try to cover, like all the important aspects and I'll try not to go too fast. In the first part, we'll basically learn how to refer to these objects, the application itself, the presentation, slide shapes, and how to control them, write to them, read, and so on. And then I'll, leave some tips and tricks in between. If you miss our two prior videos, it's okay. I'll try and cover all those part again, but we'll redo a little bit of this as well at a later stage. But once you learn how to control these subjects, it should not be difficult as for the rest of the topic. So let's start off by adding new PowerPoint. I'll just add a blank PowerPoint here. um, so very quick recap on the hierarchy. So first is the application itself, which is the PowerPoint, and then the presentation, which is this, yeah, and then we have slides, which we can add, more slides, and then within the slides you can add shapes and different type of objects, images, icons, and so on. And then you can also add text and add animation and so on. So we'll cover all this. First of all, let me just get rid of all this and let me save this as macro enabled so that we can have a backup of the code. PowerPoint VBA. Let me just put the name like this. We're going to Visual Basic Editor. If anyone is very new, just customize your ribbon. If you don't see the developer tab, just check this button. Okay. There is no macro recording, so we'll have to refer to these objects using the enumerations. So Alt F11, insert a module, will cover the user form class at a later point. Okay, so there are multiple ways to refer to these objects. So we'll get started with presentation. Um, VBA. So first will be presentation. Let's declare presentation as presentation, pre, and then we'll have to, like any other objects, we'll have to set objects. Okay, and this could be active presentation, which is the current PowerPoint file. Yeah, and then we can do this. We'll just clear the object from the memory. If I F8 debug this, maybe we can try and print this. I'll just say, write a quit function to print this message as string, and then debug.print. Yeah, so every time we don't have to write debug.print, we can say now presentation dot full name. So if I run this now, so it prints out the full name. Yeah, here's memory. Now you can also add a presentation. Instead of this, you can simply set presentation is equal to presentation.add. That will add a brand new presentation. Just disable printing here. Yeah, just add a new presentation, and here you can start referring to um, the slides and like adding manipulating stuff. One more way, you can also open presentation. So will be presentation, instead of add, we'll use the open method. And here, basically, let's say that I'll just add a slide here like this and just save us in the same location. Let's go to sample file. And then if I go here now and get this path, so we can open this part. You can specify read only, or like you can open in write mode as well. If you have to edit, you have to open set this to false. Okay, now we can maybe print out this file name again. Yeah, so it prints this file name now. You can maybe you want to close, save it and close, pause editing the file or something. So this is how you can do it. Run it. Present this read only. Just give me 1 second. I think the other file got open earlier. If I run this again, give me a sec. It says read only. Let me see if what if I open it manually. Let me make sure all the files are closed. Okay, let me try again. Read only false. Now it's opening up in read only false, and I'm able to save it, close it, and clear the memory. Okay, so that will be pretty much how to refer to the file itself. Um, and you can save as, we already covered like how to save as, export as a fixed format, like oh sorry, first, before close, in case you want to save as instead of save, you can do this save as, and here you can specify the file name. So let's say that we want to save in the same path. Let's print this part, dot path active presentation path. So we can build path around this, save as in the same path, and then we'll just put backslash save as demo2 dot, either you can put a file extension here directly, or you can also use this enumeration like pp save as presentation. Okay, that will be just ppt. You can also use micro enabled. Let me just give a quick demo for that as well. I'm just gonna run this. So if I go here, you can see this demo2 is saved. Now if I want to just not specify this, and I'll say demo3 dot micro enable pptm here. If I run this, also that also works. Or you can also just do um, save save as um, save as open XML micro enabled. I think this is for pptm. Let's try this demo 4. Okay, so I'll leave the link in the video description for all these options, or you can also press F, like F2 and look at the browser as well. So this way you can also save as different format, okay, in the presentation, slideshow, and all this. And finally, if you have to export it as fixed format, you can also export it as a PDF file. In using this method. So let's say that we'll use this same path, and then instead of this we'll say demo5.pdf, and here you can specify two, or you we can use maybe fixed format PDF. Okay. Or you can simply type 2. So in case you're not familiar with this, you can press F2, okay, and search for this. And when you get hold of this particular form, like member, you see that you can use, instead of the full name, you can just use a number for that. Yeah, F7 to go back, and so you can run this. Let me first run this. Um, there's no distraction. Let me put something first. Maybe something like this. Um, okay, this is the one sample file. So we'll have to, let me first add something really quick, something like this. Okay, so that we can do a demo. Okay, so open this file and export it as a PDF. You can also do this. Yeah, so here's a PDF. Yeah. Yeah, that will be pretty much from the presentation file itself. And then now we can proceed further to the slides and then to how to refer to them. Now let's call this slide demo. You can directly add slide to active presentation, or you can set up in this fashion, yeah, and then you can add post within this area is where you can start adding slides and doing stuff. Now, let's say that we want to add a slide dim, let's say v variable slide as a slide, and then always set for objects, use set dot slides dot add. Here you can specify um, the index where you want to add. If you want to add in the end, then you have to specify the last slide count plus 1. Yeah, but for now let me add this to the top, and then you can specify the layout. For example, we already talked about this format. Similarly, you can find out layout title only, and then we'll just clear this from the memory. Let me close this. Yeah, so it just added a slide. Now if you want to add a slide to the bottom, just let me put something so we know what these are existing ones. Yeah. um so if you want to add to the bottom, then you'll have to simply get the count of all the slides. That will be presentation slides dot count here, so plus 1 dot slides dot count. Okay, so if I run this now, just edit a slide here. Yeah. What more can we talk about here before we start talking about how to refer to them? You can also apply um, the format after you edit it. So for example, this dot dot layout equal to, and you can specify any of these layouts after you created them as well. So PowerPoint layout, title, maybe table, something like that. So if I run this now, yeah, it created this and then it applied the table one as well, layout. So that's basically how to add the slide. Referring to slides, there are a couple of ways to refer to slides: by ID. You can also refer to it by name, by the index. So let's give a quick demo for that as well. Uh, you can also say like this. Okay, and then so let's say that we want to navigate to the second slide. You can do it this fashion. Dot select. So if I run this now, It's selected that, yeah. You can also, that is by the index. You can also, for example, look through all the slides. Um, DMV slide as slide. Let's look through all the slides, and now we can debug the print um, vslide.name, and just to give what are the options you have, and vslide dot slide ID, and slide index maybe. Instead of a comma, I'll just put a separator of this. So these are the name of the slides at the moment, and this is the slide ID, and this is the index. So you can refer to the slide by this, like these options. Okay. So if I have to demonstrate this now, say this is for. So first, let's find by the ID. I'll also show you how to name the ID, the slides. Active presentation dot find slides and slide ID. And let's say now we want to go to the Ford, so we know the Ford one slide ID is this. Yeah, so you can specify this in this fashion. And if I run this now, it should go to 259 is the Ford. Yeah, it went to the Ford. So this way you can refer to it, and then within the slide you can do certain thing. Okay, to name it here, normally you don't see the slides, so one way to go about it is sometime there is an option to view the name as well here, but normally sometime I don't see it. I'm not sure why. Yep, so if you know, please let me know. So normally what I do, if you have to find a name, I normally just add any of the ActiveX control here, any of anywhere within the slide. Once I double click it, then you're able to see the name of the slide, which you can press F4 and rename it as well by yourself. Um, View properties. Give me 1 second. Let me save it first. Yeah, so you can rename this slide to anything. So let's say this is slide 3x, okay? And if I go back to my code, instead of finding by ID, now we can find by the title itself. Let me comment this out. Slides, and then here is expecting the index, but let me put the name and see if it works. So if I go and activate this, and I expect this to go to slide 3, 8. Yeah, so it went there. Okay, earlier it was here. I run this again. Yeah, it went here. So this is how you can refer. To add a name, if you already know the name of the slide and you want to dot name, you can change in this fashion as well. So for example, uh, change instead of X, I'll make it Z. And let me rerun this. And here we should be able to see it reflect once we go back. Yeah, so the name have changed. You can also, if you know the the index, for example, um, this dot name is equal to slide 1. So you can also specify the name, rename the slide in this fashion. So if I rerun this loop, it will have the slide name change. Yeah, so if I do slide 2, you'll see that this slide name will get changed. If I rerun this now and loop, yeah, so you can see it have changed again. Okay, so that's how you can rename. You can refer to the slide by the slide ID, by index. You can add the slide, refer to them. Okay, so you can move around the PowerPoint that way. Quick 2 points more to add here while we are in the slide topic. If you want to export the current slide as image, we did touch base in our other video, which is, I just export. But very quickly, you can, once you have the slide set up, for example, this is slide, let's say we want to export this slide, yeah, this one. So we can say slide, we'll just refer to it by index, and then you can specially do slide.export, and then in the export you can simply first will be the name of the image you want to export, and then here you can specify the type, for example, like JPG, yeah, and then here you can specify the pixels, like how the width and the height, yeah. So normally for YouTube thumbnails I use uh, 4000, and then the height I use it 2250, yeah. So if I run this now, let's take the path from up here. JPG, and let's call this image exported. So we are expecting to export this particular slide. Let me just put a color differentiation. Yeah. Okay, let me run this now. So go back to the folder. So here's the image that got exported. Yeah. Oh, I put 1, so that will be the first one. So if I redo this quickly for 2, yeah. Okay, and one last thing to add, if you want to navigate instead of select, you can also use go to. So this will be 5. Dot let me just get rid of everything. If you want to navigate to a slide, there's another way. So active window, we'll talk about this in a bit as well. Dot view, dot go to slide, and here you can specify the index, or you can reconstruct the name by the ID as well. Yeah. So if I want to go to slide 2, you can also specify in this fashion. Yeah. If I put it to 4, okay. Now let me show you some examples on slide shapes as well. Let's do this. I'll just put a number there just to differentiate the demos. So let's say that we want to work with slide 3 and we want to add shape here. You can add multiple, I mean, pretty much all the shapes that is there. So current this particular slide dot shapes dot add here add shape, sorry, and then here you can specify all this are your options. Okay, so let's say we want to hard, yeah, and then you can specify, for example, left, right, the positions that we talked about in our prior video, but basically this particular all the like positions. Okay. First let me declare dim as shape, and then we'll set the shape equal to this. So if I run this now, we expect the shape to be added with this particular width, height, top, and all this. Yeah. So very quickly, left and then top, position, and then height and width. Yeah. If I run this now, um, yeah. So heart is added. Now we can do a similar example here. For example, let's say we want to do a rectangle. Yeah. So one more heart shape. Yeah. Um, you might want to add text as well. I'll just reuse this. You can specify shapes dot sorry add text box, and then within this you can specify the type, right? So let's say we want to do MSO text orientation horizontal, yeah, and here you can do the same thing and to write to the particular like shape you can use this. Okay, so quickly, yeah, this text frame and then text range. Okay, dot text frame dot text range dot text is equal to, and maybe we can just say hello world. So if we run this now, I'll just comment this out for now. F8. So hello world. Yeah. If you already know the shape, for example, this one, title one, right? So let's try this. Um, Let me just comment this out so that I can refer to it later. So instead of like we did for the slide, we can also do in this fashion, I guess, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so you can also refer to it by name, by index as well. Yeah, so that's how you'll refer to the shapes. You can add the shape, all different types of shapes. Now, quickly, in case you want to export, let's say you want to export the slide. Now we talk about the slide, the shapes. Let's say you want to export this particular slides from one PowerPoint to another. Let me give a quick demonstration. So going back here, just copy this. Let's call this export to another PPT. So let's say that we want to export from current PowerPoint these two slides. Um, so I'll say that dim presentation equal to this active presentation, and then we the presentation, let's call this destination PowerPoint or target. We'll open this PowerPoint and we'll export it here. Okay. Now, let me just do this. Let's not close this, and we'll leave it here so we can see the results. And now we already know how to refer to the slides, so we can say, let's try with one slide first. Um, so slide 2, and we can do slide 2 dot copy, and then okay, so let's try this. Um, so it opened the presentation. No, it's set the slide to this, like our presentation, slide number 2. It's gonna copy, it's gonna paste it here now. Okay, so this is how you can basically do it. As far as referring to the slide, you can also refer again to by using the find method as well that we covered here. Where is that? Yeah, find by slide ID. So that's how you can also find. Okay, and then you can copy and paste. You can set up, if you have to do this for multiple of them, you can set up an array, and then you can loop through the array and copy and paste it in this fashion. Okay, so here we are copying the slide and pasting it to the destination. As far as saving as, we already covered here how to save as into a different PowerPoint. Okay, so this will be helpful when you have to do like consolidating different slides from multiple PowerPoints. Now let's quickly touch base on the animation. So let's say that we have these three shapes, maybe another shape, another type of shape, something like that. And let's say that we have animation, let's say fade in. Let me go to this. And then this one further. Okay, so this is a basic animation that will pop up one after another. Let's say that we want to, you see this duration, and if you have to manipulate this animation sequences, then you can also do that. Let me quickly demonstrate that now. So let's see, so we'll take care of trigger, delay timeline, delay, etc. And now let's say that you want to look through all the time sequence in the timeline of the current slide, and then we will increase or decrease or delete the animation. We can just get this. Our slide is 3, so I'll just say 3. So with this particular slide, um, we want to loop through, so let me just put index here. I is equal to this slide dot timeline dot main sequence dot count. So this will return us the count of the sequence. Two. So from the bottom to the top, and step -1. And here we can set up, we can refer to the effect. So let's say that effect as effect, and then we can set it here. V slide dot timeline dot main sequence, and here we can specify our I as the index. Now Now, if you have to delete, you can just specify delete here, which will delete the sequence. Let me first set the, maybe we can set dot timing dot trigger delay time. So if we go back here, so one is the delay time and one is the duration, right? So let's say delay time is equal to delay time plus maybe 0.2, something like that. Will just increase like that. Okay, now if you observe here, you'll see that it will increase. Yeah, as you can see here, this happened. Okay, if I rerun this now, yeah, a little bit. Now if you want to decrease, yeah, then you can do a reverse of this. Okay, um, let me do it, reduce it further down. Okay, it's not going any further down because it's already 0. If I rerun this, yeah, a bit faster. Again, if you have to delete, then you can just use this. Okay, so now it's deleted, the animation is gone. In this part, let me quickly demonstrate how to insert icons or the image to your slide. This will become handy later on when we do the ribbon next. We'll use this particular function. Okay, so it's a single line, small method. So let's call this function add, or let's say insert image, and then file, variable file, or p file, a string. Okay, and this will return true or false. For this, we'll use again active window, and then dot selection wherever the selection is, slide range dot shapes dot add image, add picture, and here we'll take in our p file, and then what is this, link to file. So this could be Amos false, and next um, save with document, this part save with document. Yeah, we'll do this as well as if you want to save along with the document, and we want that to be true, and then you can specify left and top. So let's say we want to insert it maybe 100, and top as well as 100. The width and the height is optional. Now let's say we want to specify 40 each, and then dot select. Okay, so that is pretty much it. That will be our function to insert the image. Now we can try and test this out. And let me take this part. Okay, so it's inserted that. Okay, one more image. Let's see, this is the one. We can also add a quick handler here, like p-top as long, so that it does not insert in the same area all the time. Yeah, So p top and p left, we can insert it here. So every time it's inserted, we can increment it by something like p top plus 50, and then this plus 50, and this will be left and top. Okay, so let's try again. Add a quick handler here to reset. Um, so one way to identify here the left and the top, what will be the maximum? You can, like get a shape like this, and we can reuse the method that we wrote sometime back here. Shapes by title. Yeah, this should be the one. So this particular tree shapes will be this. We'll get the left and the top. Okay, so it's about 900. If the shape is this small, if the shape is bigger, it's around 800, and the top is about 400. Yeah, so we can reset um, in this fashion. So if top is greater than or equal to maybe around 500, then we can reset here. Similarly, if the top, the left, p left is greater than or equal to 700, then we want to reset the left back to 10 or something. And if the top is this, then we'll reset back to maybe just below the title. And for the left, we want to kind of, because it will be slanting like this, we just want to do list maybe 350, 300 maybe. Let's give this a try. Let's reset this first. P top equals to 0, P left equals to 0. Just resetting it. Okay. Okay, so that should be okay. Based on your image, you can add more dynamics to the code like this. Okay. That will be pretty much for working with objects, but if you do have any questions, please do comment and I'll try to come back as soon as possible. Now let's take a look at various ways to call or trigger this program that you'll write in your PowerPoint project. Okay, so if you're like just wanting to do this for yourself really quick, one way would be to go to your ribbon. Let me just do this. Let's say that we want to run this code. Yeah, so we you can add a button here really quickly, or you can create your group here itself. So go to your ribbon, and one way would be to go here, your macros, and these are all the macros that you have written. So we can, like simply in any of these tabs you can add actually. So let's say we want to add it to a group here. Let me add a custom group. We'll rename it as custom, and within this we can move this code. You can rename it, you can put in some icon to this, maybe something like this. So now we should have yeah, if you click here, then it should insert all these icons here. Control Z. Okay, so that's quick, but you will not be able to share this file. It will not. The customization will not cannot be shared, so you'll have to do a Raven X for that, which I'll cover in a bit. Another way will be calling through maybe shapes. So if you have shape like this, you can also assign a code. So normally, like in Excel, we do have an option, right click and assign a macro, but in PowerPoint the way to go about will be go to insert action, and here you can even initialize the program, or you can run existing macro. So for example, this macro, if you want to run, if I bring this up, I should be able to call that macro. The thing is that in the slideshow mode, we are not able to do that. Let me quickly demonstrate by test macro. Let's assign this new macro. Um, test macro. Yeah, so the code is called. So if you want to make your slides interactive, this will be one way to move around things and um, add animation on runtime and so on. For the context menu, we can just reuse the episode 2 of custom menu Rebenak series. Okay, you can actually drag between these projects as well. Where is so if you have your Excel editor as well, so you can simply drag and drop it here like this. Yeah. The only thing is it will not understand this workbook, worksheet, and all this. So the menu worksheet menu bar will become just menu bar. This workbook will become active presentation, or we can even specify the name of this particular presentation. So active presentation dot name. So if we are referring to the code in this file, we can specify like this. This workbook dot name. Okay, so let me try to run this. If it works well, it should show up a menu in Add-ins tab. So here is the menu we just added. Okay, so you can replicate this as well. If you have not seen this episode, I'll leave a link in the video description. You can rename all these labels in a way you want. Maybe import from, like import icon, images, and so on. You can build your own custom menu based on the utilities or customization that you build into your project. Yeah, so that will be pretty much it. This is the caption for um, the sub menu, and these are the sub items. You can further add sub items to those. So we have done a detailed tutorial on this, so please do check it out. I'll leave the link in the video description. Okay, so another way to trigger the code, basically what I'm getting at is you can also add a menu like this, and then you can call the code. So if I go back here and get the test macro, and then I'll say that when I click import, and then I'll say test macro, and here I'll specify the code. Let me delete this. Now it's deleted. I'll re-add it back. Yeah. Now if I run this macro, yeah. So that's how you can also trigger the code. Now, if you need, you can also add these ActiveX controls. For example, here is the button like you normally would use. So if you double click, it will take you to the back of your like code, and here you can simply add your code, or you can call other codes from here. Yeah. For example, if I load this up now, it should run in this fashion as well. You can edit anywhere. Um, and So you can add a navigation and so on, and you can also use text box, combo box, all this as well. Let me just quickly show you. I was just playing around with this. So for example, you can add a design, like this, a text box which looks like this or like this. Here's another sample. Maybe here we can add a menu. I don't foresee anyone creating a user interface here, but if you need to create something which is interactive, like based on the user inputs, you want to do something, you can also utilize this. You can simply drag and drop. The way I did this was basically I drop in a shape like this, yeah, and then on top of that I added a text like this on top of this. So maybe address, something like that, and then the background of this shape was changed to this, like this, basically. And then within this, after adding a text box like this, I added a text box in this fashion. You can bring up the properties and then you can change the effect in this fashion. Okay, and then on runtime or here as well, you can change the back color in a way you want. You have more options using RGB from the macro, something like that. Yeah. Okay. Um, so that's that. Another example. The ActiveX controls are always on top of the other objects, so you need to watch out for that as well. Um, and then yes, you can call the macro. It can add, like drop down on runtime as well. The way I did this one was I added label first like this, and then I added a text box inside the label like this, and then changed the effect to flat, and I removed the borders basically, and then the label's caption is removed, and I arrived at this. So if I do this, yeah. So that was me playing around. You can definitely use that in the same way you will use the combo box or any other ActiveX control in other applications. So you'll use that. If you have not seen our UI UX videos, you can definitely check it out. It has everything in detail. So please do check it out as well. And let's go back and check for the user form. This part I will cover in a bit while we wind up as well. We already covered all this part, copy slides from one to another, import PowerPoint data, import to PowerPoint from Excel. This also I can quickly task base, it will not take time. Now very quickly on the, what is this? User form. Context menu we've done. So on the user form, it's going back here. This user form is from the UI UX series episode 1. So you can simply drag and drop those user form that you created in other Excel application, or like in the Word, for example. You can drag it into your project like this. Okay, and then you can simply launch this. This one has some Excel configs, so we can just remove that as well. Or maybe there is something dependent here. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, let me just fix this now. If I run this now, it launches this up. Click here. Yeah. So you can write a code to so something there's 2 3 UI load 1, then user form 1 dot show. Now we can bring this up maybe using this button like this. Yeah. So you can add this as well to the initialize part. Now coming to the ribbon-X part and then to the add-in. Let me quickly highlight some of the things that you can do. This is just a demo, but if you um, are interested, then I will leave the XML part for free download. Okay, so this is the demo utility that I prepared just for to give you some idea. Okay, just give me 1 second. I need to bring in. So this is basically a ribbon-X customization that I've done. Here is the labels, and this is basically a button that will open up a YouTube page. And then these are example of how you can add your icons customized as well as the one that is already here. This to remove button again to remove all the animations. To add a delay, we already wrote this code, and also to add the delay time and to reduce this to export as image as video. We've done this in our other video, so we can just copy and paste the code here, export it to PDF. We've done that. This is dynamic gallery, which is a little bit complex to be covering in this video, so I'll try and cover this in another video. Okay, so this dynamic gallery basically uh, use the get image event to get the image from, for example, from all the, like from the folder. So if you add more, then it will reflect in the, in this gallery, and then you can use the icon to insert it into your PowerPoint, for example. So it might become handy when you design any utilities for PowerPoint. Uh, and then this is another example of gallery. Again, this will be added to for free download, so you can simply download and then you can customize in the way you want. You can change the image which will be there. So for example, if you go, I hope you remember, if you have not followed our ribbon-X series, please do check it out. So if I open up this file now, mm, 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 P utilities, yeah. So you'll need to first import all your image here, and then, for example, all this image, you need to change the name of your image in the way you want. So if you have not referred to ribbon-X series, please do check it out. Yep, and I will, yes, upload this XML so that you can customize in the way you want for your PowerPoint. um, and then these are basic icons which you click, and then you can call your codes based on whatever you click here. Okay, so that's also the same way that you do in your Excel or in your Word or like other application, you'll do in the same fashion. So if you have not seen ribbon-X series, it's very simple. You can just import this customization, and then you can trigger your code in the way you want. Okay, so this is one small example. The the code here will include like how to implement the get the value from this edit box as well. Okay, so do check it out. One another static gallery here is the one for image browser. So if you want, you can also download this. I'll leave the link in the video description. It's already there in the blog, available for download. Okay. Coming to the last part of this series, I'll now demonstrate how to create an add-in, also deploy an add-in, and a couple of ways on how you can trigger the code automatically when the file loads. Because as I mentioned in the beginning, that PowerPoint does not have this PowerPoint object, so you will not be able to initialize like this workbook underscore open event is not available in similarly. So there are a couple of ways to do this. One way would be to use auto open, which everyone is familiar, but this part will not work if it is not an add-in. Okay, so for example, let's say that's auto underscore open. Yeah, and here whatever code that you put in, it's gonna fire when the PowerPoint opens up. But again, this will not work in a normal file. It only works in an add-in file. Okay, so let me close this and try and reopen this. Yeah, so it didn't fire, okay? But as soon as you save as an add-in file, then that code is gonna fire. So that is one way to do it. I'll demonstrate that once we create an add-in. The other way will be to one is to create a class, and I'll also briefly cover that. We already did lots of example in Excel, so we can do the similar stuff here. Other way will be to create custom UI. So for example, if we open the file, this file, and we can just get any code actually from our Ribbon X series. I'll just paste it here. Okay, now the only thing you need to add here is basically uh, on load, and then you need to specify what needs to be loaded. So for example, on load, and then is equal to, and then here you can specify the code you want, the micro name. So ribbon X, maybe initialize or something like that. Okay, and then let's get a code for this callbacks. Okay, so here is the customization I just added for the buttons, and we can now add a ribbon X module. Copy this. So now whatever code you add here will run irrespective if it is add-in or not. Okay, so for example, message box. So let me close this. Okay, so that's the way to trigger the code automatically when the code runs. In case you do not need any customization, you can simply remove them or put in the hidden tab group. Okay. Um, Now let's create an add-in. To create an add-in, you can simply save as and then select the add-in after all your customization is done. So this is for 2003 version, and then this is for the latest versions. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this. Now keep a track of this your add-in folder. This is where it's getting saved. Now let me just call this ppt VBA this file. Okay, there was the issue was with the ActiveX controls in the, so let me just create another version, and I'll get rid of all these steps which is ActiveX. This is okay. Let's create a new slide. Okay, so now that's gone. Let's try and save it again. Um, okay, so now it's saved. Let me close this. So that's the way to create an add-in. Whatever you create will be saved here. So this is the PowerPoint we just add-in we created. Now to deploy or to install the add-in, you simply open PowerPoint, go here, uh, not this. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, this one, PowerPoint add-ins. From here, you can add new and select the add-in that you created. Now, if you create a new add-in, you replace this one in the same location. Okay, so if you add this to other location, it's not going to get loaded. So put it in the add-ins folder. It's a little bit different than Excel. As you can see now, the auto load also fired and Ribbon X also fired. Okay, so these are the ones customization we added now. Let me just start up PowerPoint. Both of them was executed, and you can see the customization we added. So that's the way to add to create an add-in and deploy as well. Okay, and as you can see, you will not be able to view the projects that is published in PowerPoint. Okay, but that is not a way to secure your VBA projects, because the user can still have access to the file. I'll give a small class demonstration as well in case you're not familiar with class objects. You can use class to extend your like object handling events as well, especially in PowerPoint. Since we don't have this workbook and then the objects where you can put in the events, you can use class to do that sort of thing. So for example, I'll call this as C app, custom application, something like that. And then here we will add, let's call this private with events. App as application, that will be PowerPoint application. And then once you select the app, you have all the events associated with the PowerPoint app class, application class, and you can use any of these events, but you'll have to initialize the class. Okay, so for that, first I'll say set this app equal to application, and in the load, whatever load initialization that you use, you can like hook it. Okay, so for example, private, um, let's say ppt application, we'll call this as C app, custom app, and then when this is fired up, we'll say that this equal to new, like this. Okay, so now this part will get initialized. Now this part class can start working. So within this, you can choose any of the events. So let's say that you want to select whenever any other PowerPoint presentation is open, you want to fire, then you can say um, after it's open, or we can also use whenever there's a new presentation it's created. If you want to run, then you'll use this when the presentation closed. If you want to fire automatically, when it is activated, when the slideshow begin. So all these are things you can use. So window selection change. So let's try one of them. Presentation open. Let's try this. So when this is event is fired, let's say that we want to call test code, test program, and here in the module, I'll just add this. Okay, now for this to work, we'll have to restart so that this can be initialized. Okay, now the event should be working. If I open a new presentation, Yeah, so this program got fired. Okay, so that's a way to incorporate class into your PowerPoint project. Um, Similarly, you can have more objects added, maybe here as well, or in the different class object. Okay, so guys, I think we have covered pretty much everything. I'll leave the link and other related materials further reading. There are some documentation, official documentation as well available, so you can check those as well. But I hope all this demonstration or some of the things we did has helped you. If so, do not forget to leave a like, and I'll really appreciate if you can share the videos as well so that it will reach out to more people. And please do leave a like. It will help in the algorithms. And I'll talk to you guys in our next video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye bye.